Welcome to Seattle College's international programs and our show Conversations With, where we talk to people that help you understand how you too can be an international student in the United States and why Seattle Colleges should be your first choice. We'll talk to students and staff and agents and government folks, all kinds of people about what you can expect when you're getting ready to apply or travel here, what you'll experience while you're with us, and how it can all lead to an amazing life. Don't forget to check out the Seattle College's International Programs website at intl.seattlecolleges.edu, where you can find a treasure trove of information about the school, the programs here, and best of all, fill out and submit your application. Again, that's intl.seattlecolleges.edu. Hey everybody, it's Evan Franulovich. Welcome back to Conversations With. We're here today at the North Seattle campus yet again, which is great. We like to get out to the North and South campuses whenever we can. And we're here with one of our guests from, we haven't had any Western European students doing the podcast, so this is kind of a special occasion. Tell us where you're from and what you're doing here.
My name is Emer O'Doherty, and I am from England. Well, I grew up in England, but my parents are Irish. So I kind of grew up in an Irish household in England.
And England, okay.
So that's the reason for the Irish passport.
Oh, you have an Irish passport?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Republic of Ireland,
yeah.
Not Northern Ireland.
No.
All right, cool. And you don't sound Irish.
No.
Your accent is
well, I've
definitely...
lived my whole life in England.
Right.
Apart from 1 year, I lived in Ireland. We tried it out for a year, the whole family, and then we decided it wasn't, and we moved back to...
Do they give you a hard time? Like, say, hey, you have an Irish passport, you don't sound like you're Irish?
Sometimes people question it, yeah, but then I think the name...
of course.
It's fine, yeah. People just accept it.
So before we move on, and you can tell more, but like your first name is spelled E-M-E-R. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Just one R.
Yeah.
And say it again slowly.
So in an Irish accent and an American accent, you would say Emer.
Emer.
But because I'm from Essex and I don't really say my R's, I say Emer.
Ema.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So it depends where you're from, how you would say my name, really.
Okay, good. Well, you said it yesterday to me when I ran into you, which was awesome. But you said it so fast, I was like, I'm not really sure what it is. I mean, I know what it's spelled like, but, well, cool. So, yeah, you grew up, well, that's a nice area where you're from in Essex. You're not too far from the water. So do
South End
go
is
to the
very
beach
close.
a lot? And...
Yeah, it was only like a half an hour drive.
Yeah.
There's lots of fun things to do in South End. It's a cool place.
It seems like you're 50 kilometers from downtown London and just a few kilometers from the ocean?
I actually loved living there because we could so easily go into London and go to events and go to gigs and shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But then very easily get the train home and be out of the city and be in good old Wickford.
Right. Nice. Very good. I've never been to that part. I've been to London, but I've never been out to the east side there. So someday I would like to do that. Well, great. So you're here. You said you're studying. So did you mention it? Tell us again what you're studying.
I'm doing an international short course, which it's actually in general studies. So it means I can pick and choose which classes I want to do.
Gotcha.
So it just turns out that most of the classes I have chosen have been art classes.
Right.
And I've been very focused on ceramics and sculpture and like physical art.
Right. Now, is this something, were you doing sculpture art before you came here?
Not really. I've been doing art always, like making things. I've always been very, very into like making things. And before I moved here, I was actually doing a stained glass window course in London, like part-time. And that kind of got me back into wanting to be back in education and learning more, because when I left school at 18, I was done with education. Did not want to go to uni. Did not want to like see another revision book for years. And then now I'm in my 30s. I'm back ready to learn and willing to like take in information that I would not have been able to do when I was younger.
Okay, so between 18 and your 30s, it's a big chunk of time. What'd you do?
Oh, all kinds of things.
Also,
I've done lots of different jobs, trying to find what I want to do, really, and just kind of following life where it takes me.
I think that's great. That's one of the great things about community colleges. We are a community college, and a lot of people are like, what's a community college? But it's, anybody can come, really. It's easy to get accepted. It's easy to kind of reinvent yourself. And if you're a non-traditional student like you are, you're older. I just interviewed yesterday another art student. Have you met Chuen Wang? He's a Chinese guy. He's studying art here. And he's like my age. He's in his 50s. So it's like, it's always possible.
And I think community college is even better for that as well. And I was a bit nervous about coming to an environment where most of the people are going to be like 10 years younger than me.
Right.
But it hasn't, like, all of the worries that I had, they were not needed. Like, there are so many other people who are around my age, or like, age doesn't really matter in community college. No. Like, everyone becomes friends with everyone.
It's true.
And it's been a really nice environment to, like, be in.
So, okay, so you come to community college, but we are not exactly in your neighborhood. I mean, we're Seattle. We're on the west coast of the United States. How'd you hear about us, and what motivated you to apply here? Or did you apply to other schools, and this is the one you chose? This is the only place you applied?
It's the only place I applied, yeah. So my reason for finding Seattle there's many reasons that led me to being here. Probably the first one was when I was the first time I came to the US was when I was 22.
Okay, so you've been here before.
And I was working at a special needs camp in Washington. And that summer, I fell in love with Washington, and just the nature, the trees, the mountains, was just blown away by it all.
Wow.
And during that trip, I actually met my now husband, who, fast forward 6 years, we got reconnected, and then we're in a long distance relationship. And
he's an American?
He's an American. Okay. He's from Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And so fast forward to 2021, I come to visit him and then realize how much I love Seattle, and how much I was just like, I want to be here.
Gotcha.
And then because I'd kind of got the like learning bug again from doing the stained glass window course, I was like, I'm up for going to college, I'm up for learning. And then Isaac actually went to Central College before he went to UW.
Okay.
So he was like, have a look into like Seattle colleges. And then I was looking at the courses, and I saw ceramics at North, and I was like, that's the one.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I put it on my vision board, and then a year later I'm here.
That's great. So is he still at UW?
No, he went to UW.
Graduated.
Years ago,
Gotcha.
It was just like I know what's a good place. You could go to community college, and he was right.
All right. Well, I've heard a couple stories. I interviewed a girl from Norway who came here, and her boyfriend was on the rowing team at UW, so that's why she picked Seattle colleges. Do you plan? But she returned to Norway. She went back. Are you just planning to stay? Are you planning to go back? What's your long-term plan?
I am planning to stay, yeah, but I'm not planning to stay in college.
Right, yeah.
I'm kind of like, now that I've kind of found ceramics, I'm like, I want to do this. I want to keep.
But ceramics, I mean, it seems to me, I don't know much about it, but it seems to me you have to have an oven.
A kiln, yeah.
So do you have a kiln?
Well, actually, yes.
Oh.
Well, I have one lined up. My mother-in-law, Isaac's mum, actually found one on Facebook Market.
Cool.
And yeah, so I do have one lined up. At the moment, I'm still using all of the college facilities because it's here and it's perfect. And
good facilities?
Yeah, real good.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're listening to this show and you're interested in art, maybe you're interested in ceramics or pottery or whatever, we have good stuff here at North Seattle College. I honestly don't know what's at South or Central, but everybody talks about art here at North. So
yeah, and the art community here is so great.
Really?
Yeah, really, really great.
Do you guys like get together? What do you do?
Yeah, there's like an art club.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, is it you meet like every Tuesday? I mean, how does that work?
I don't really know if it's like a regular thing. I just, whenever I see a poster up, like, come and do art with us, I just go, and it's great. Like, you get to meet other art students who you wouldn't necessarily meet because you were in different art classes. And like some of the people that I met in my first ceramics class, we still like meet up and hang out and like go to the park and do painting and stuff. Like,
that's cool.
Meet other people who are interested in art and not necessarily the same art that you're making, but you have that like thing in common.
Yeah.
It's really nice to like just meet up and like sometimes you're just sitting there in silence just doing art, and it's lovely just to be around other people who are into the same kind of thing as you.
So you get out and away to do art as well? You do painting, apparently, it sounds like?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a painter, but sometimes I like to paint things.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right, cool. So, but your passion is ceramics, but does that include pottery? I said pottery, but I don't know if that actually...
Yeah, so pottery is ceramics.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. When I think of ceramics, I think of like tiles.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, because they're made of ceramics, yeah.
Like more porcelain kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you can make pots out of porcelain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Chinese did it, right? So, but when I think of pottery, I grew up on the Oregon coast, and a lot of artists out there, a lot of people making pottery. And what I think of is like they have a wheel and they're spinning it, and they're, it's muddy and it's tan and whatever, and then they paint it and glaze it or whatever. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
So kind of like that scene in Ghost.
Yeah, just like that scene in Ghost.
That's
it's so funny that so many people use that as a reference point.
Nice.
But yeah, basically. And also, I really enjoy hand building. So like not on the wheel, like just forming it with your hands, or like making more kind of like shapes out of it. Not necessarily round shapes, but like making things out of slabs and then attaching the slabs. I really enjoy that.
I'm not really sure what that means. I need a visual to really understand that, but that sounds cool. So is your family artistic? Is your mom, dad, brothers, sisters, whatever, or did you come from art? Or is this just kind of you and you're an outlier?
My brother is very artistic, yeah. And my mum always encouraged my artistic-ness. I remember when I was younger, she would keep extra like things from the recycling because I would make things out of them. Like she would keep like a separate pile, like, oh, Emma might want to make something out of that. Nice. And I feel like that really encouraged me to like, oh, I have all of these materials. What am I going to make? Yeah. So like she always really encouraged my creativity.
That's really cool. Yeah, parents that do that are smart parents. That's great. All right, so kind of understand your program now. I met you in the fall, so that was your first quarter. The short-term certificates are usually 3, 6, 9, 12 months long. Yours is going to be a full 12 months?
Yeah, so you can choose whether you do 1 to 4 quarters.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am doing 4 quarters, but I took the summer quarter as a vacation quarter, so technically I'll be at North for 5 quarters.
5 quarters. Okay, great. And then we just went through graduation down at the baseball field, and there were all the people. Do you actually graduate with everybody else? Will you do that?
I don't think so, because it's not a degree.
Okay.
It's just a certificate. Yeah. Which I'm not like bummed about. I was here for the education of it. I don't really need anything from it because I'm not trying to get into a university or anything. I'm just doing it for skills.
So you were in Washington before. You did a camp, you said, right? And which city was that in? Was that out in the mountains?
It was out in the little islandy bits. It was in a place called Vaughan.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it was out on the Puget Sound area. Cool.
Yeah.
How long was that?
I was there for 3 months.
3 months.
And then
That's
I did
a long
month's traveling afterwards, like all along the West Coast.
So you went like down to California?
Yeah.
Cool.
And like
hitchhiking?
No, I did a thing called Trek America, which I don't think exists anymore because of COVID. I think that was a company that kind of disappeared, but it was so much fun. It was like 12 other people in a minivan, and you camp at different campgrounds, occasionally stay in a hotel, which felt like a dream after being in tents. But it was so much fun. I went to like Monument Valley and Yellowstone and Vegas.
So you drove
I
between
didn't
places?
drive.
Okay, yeah.
But like the tour guide drove.
Okay.
And he was great. He had so much knowledge about everywhere we went.
Wow.
It was really fun.
So there was no bicycles. It's not like they drop you off, you ride. Okay.
No,
That's
I was
a
sitting
lot
in the
of
van
territory.
the whole time. I didn't.
Cool.
I was being driven.
And how long was that trip? Because that's a lot of territory you covered.
Yeah, we covered a lot of space in a short amount of time. Some places we were only there for like a day and a half, maybe, or 2 days. I feel like it was like a 20-day trip or something. Oh,
that's pretty good.
Or 18 days.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can spend weeks just like at Yosemite if you want. You know, hit the backcountry or whatever. But so give you a taste of what's in the West.
Yeah, and I fell in love with it, for sure. Like, the trees just blow me away.
Yeah, the trees are awesome. Well, you must have gone to the Redwoods.
No, that wasn't part of the trip. That is on my to-do list.
You gotta go. If you like trees, that is like tree heaven. It's one of my mom's favorite places to go. It's just these amazing. Or did you go to Sequoia National Park? Because big trees in Sequoia. Did you go to Yosemite?
No, not yet.
Oh, so okay. So tell me the route you guys took again.
So we started in Seattle, and then we went to.
So you went
through Montana. We went to like the gorge, something gorge.
Oh, you went down to the Columbia River Gorge along Oregon,
and we went
Washington.
to Grand Teton.
Oh,
and it was advertised as like the mountain trek.
Gotcha.
And we went to Yellowstone and
the Tetons are right there.
Yeah, Monument Valley, and then.
Did you go up to like Kalispell and hit Glacier National Park?
No,
you didn't go that far
there.
north. So,
no.
Okay, I know what you did then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you've got some. You're going to be hanging around. It sounds like so.
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of places I still want to visit here.
Yeah, you're gonna love the Redwoods. It's really great, and it's right next to the water. It's so beautiful. I grew up on the Oregon coast, which is just a few hours north of Redwoods. So,
I actually just got back from Oregon. We went to stay in a place called Rockaway Beach. By Cannon Beach.
Oh, okay, I know where Cannon Beach is. Yeah.
I loved it there.
Yeah, it's a little north of where I grew up. I grew up in Florence, Oregon, which is smack dab in the middle. But yeah, we used to go. Well, I played sports, so we'd play these other towns and go up and down the coast. Beautiful. Did you hit the beach? Did you surf? Yeah. Did you do anything?
I didn't surf. No.
It's cool.
I just enjoyed the beach. Yeah, it was very windy.
And there's sharks, of course.
Very windy. Really?
Yeah, we get. Well, where I grew up, a lot of people go surf at Heceta Head, and every once in a while, someone would get bit by a shark.
Oh,
so.
gosh.
Yeah, they're out there. But, I mean, people still go surfing, and they don't seem to bother or whatever. All right. Well, tell us, in the coursework that you do, you said that you do more than just art classes. What other kinds of classes have you been taking?
The first quarter, I took Spanish.
Oh, cool.
Which I really enjoyed, but I found it difficult. I did find it difficult. I did Spanish in secondary school in England. So I had a little bit of knowledge behind me, but I'm glad I did it. I really enjoyed it.
And useful here.
Yeah. And what else have I taken? I took American Sign Language 1 and 2, which I loved. Really, really loved that. Highly recommend that course if anyone is at North. That was such a good course. It was online. The teacher is fantastic, and it was just, I loved it.
Well, if you ever meet my wife is an ASL interpreter.
Oh, wow.
That's what she does, yeah.
Oh, so cool.
So I get to see, at our wedding, she signed this song for us. It was so cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it makes me...
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really great. I don't sign, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, I speak other languages, but I would like to sign. I just never take the time to learn, so. And I've got a great resource in the living room.
Yeah.
So.
It's okay. You'll get to it.
I'll get to it around, someday. When I lose my hearing, I'll have to do it. So cool. So ASL, Spanish.
And I've done sculpture for 2 quarters as well, which has been a fantastic class. Paula, who is the teacher, she is so great. Really, really enjoyed that class too. And I'm doing that again this quarter. I'm going to do ceramics, sculpture 3, and intro to photography in September. Cool. Because I want to learn a bit more about how to photograph the things I make.
Good.
Because that'll be helpful in the future.
Right, for sure, yeah. Is your plan to, say, open an online store and sell your stuff? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I've kind of had this dream of having like a creative, like homemade shop since I was probably about 18, and I've known what I wanted to be called. I wanted it to be called Dreamer, but with 2 E's, like Emer.
Oh, nice.
And I've kind of been searching for what I want my product to be, and for a while it was dream catchers, and I've kind of been like trying lots of different things, and now I'm thinking pottery.
Have you already started selling some things?
No, not yet. No.
Yeah, it's
just trying to be honing my craft so it's good enough to sell.
Well, you don't hone too much, because I see some crazy things on the internet, and they sell. People sell all sorts of stuff. It's amazing. And it's so easy. I mean, you'll probably end up, I'm guessing, with your own site and stuff. But like, I know a lot of people use, what is it, Etsy or something like that to sell wares, and people make pretty good money. You know, they're able to either supplement their income with something they're really passionate about or whatever. So
Yeah, that is the plan. I haven't been able to start doing that yet because of what visa I'm on. I'm not allowed. I wouldn't be allowed
You're
to
on
do
an
that.
F1 visa.
Yeah. So in the future, when I have the permission to work in the US,
sure,
absolutely, that is my plan.
Cool. Right. Will you have to leave the country in order to come back on a different visa? Or can you change it within?
I can change it within. I will have to actually stay until it's sorted, so I won't be able to go back to the UK until I have a green card.
Bummer. Get to hang out.
I mean, I'm sad because I miss a lot of people, but...
Oh, sure. But they can
it'll
come
be
here,
great.
right?
Yeah, and it will... Actually, my friend is coming to visit next week, and I'm so excited to see her. Yeah.
What are you guys going to do?
I'm going to take her up to the Space Needle.
Of course.
And we're going to go paddleboarding.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to show her around the city.
Yeah, cool.
Have fun.
And you have a car?
No, but Isaac does.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
So you can get out and see the mountains and stuff.
I want to take her to Alki as well.
Right,
that's where me and Isaac got married.
Well, if you're married, why are you here on an F1 visa? Why don't you have a...
Because we weren't married.
Oh, you weren't married.
We're newly married.
Gotcha. And okay, so I have a good friend right now. I was living in China for 4 years, and I was working with this guy, and he met a Chinese woman, and they applied for her visa, and it's taking forever. Is yours taking forever? Is it just a long?
We're still in the process of gathering all of the information that we need.
Right.
So I haven't fully sent it off yet.
Gotcha.
So but I am anticipating it taking a while.
Yeah. It's a slow process, so get comfortable.
Yeah, and that's why I went on spring break. I went back to England because I knew it was going to be a while before I could go back. So I did a trip back to see everyone before I was stuck here for a while.
Right.
I say stuck, but I'm very happy to be here.
See, I mean, I didn't grow up in Seattle. I grew up on the Oregon coast, but it feels like home here. It's very
same
nice.
for me as well. I was very surprised at how quickly it felt like home for me. Like within a few weeks, I was like, I'm meant to be here, kind of a feeling, which was lovely and also very great for my parents to hear as well.
Of course.
For them to hear that I'm so happy here and so comfortable here.
Well, especially if you read the news, America is, it sounds like chaos all the time, but it's really pretty chill here.
Yeah.
So don't believe the newspapers.
They give out a bad message, but it's actually great fun here.
Yeah, you haven't had any problems.
No.
People are nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, just come to the States. It's not a big deal. I talked to, when I was in China, I talked to parents, and they were so concerned about their son or daughter getting shot or, what I'm like, guys, it's not, you're reading the headlines. It's just, not that bad. Cool.
But that's what sells the headlines.
That is what sells the headlines, right. So have your parents come to visit? You have your friend coming, but your parents haven't been here yet?
No, not yet. I think they plan to soon.
So when you did your wedding, was it just a small thing?
It was really small, yeah.
Are you going to redo it?
We are, actually. We're going to do a bigger, more of a celebration in England in a few years' time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you and I were talking before the show started, and we were talking about, have you found anybody else from your part of the world? Nobody else, right?
No one. I think since I've been here for a year now, and I think even outside of college, I've met 2 English people.
Oh, just in Seattle.
Yeah.
So come on, guys.
I haven't met anyone from England.
Right.
At all.
If you're from Ireland or you're from England or wherever, just don't worry about it. Come on over. It's a great time. Well, so you know, most of the students I interview, of course, English is not their first language, but it is your first language.
Yeah.
Do you blend, obviously, because you look just like every other American, but obviously when you start speaking, so do you get a lot of traction? Do you get a lot of conversation starters because of your accent?
Yeah, people often are like double take, like, what? Speak again? Like,
right.
you don't sound like you're from here.
Right.
And often people aren't sure where I'm from because I don't have like the poshest of English accents, and I think an Essex accent can sometimes sound a bit Australian. No. So sometimes people are like, "Are you from Australia?" I'm like, no, Essex.
You should say, "Yeah, I'm from Australia." They don't know the difference. Well, I used to work for Staffordshire University and Oxford Brookes and Stirling.
I've heard of Oxford Brookes. I think one of my friends went there actually after school.
It was great. I mean, I was teaching for their branch campus at Chengdu University, but it was great because I was an American working with a lot of British people, and so we always gave each other a hard time about my accent and how I spelled things, and we'd give each other.
Oh yeah, it's fun to do that. Yeah,
it's a great time.
Yeah, and like pointing out the funny ways of I say things, and like me and Isaac do that all the time, taking the mick out of each other. Like, that's not how you say that.
That's
word.
right, exactly. And it's really great because your education system in England is just set up so differently than the American system.
So different.
So even though we share a common language, we look similar. It's quite a bit different, I discover.
Very, very different. And also, university is very, very different as well. In England, you focus on a specific thing, whereas here, you have to do so many different classes, like for years before you actually, before you actually choose the thing you want to do. Whereas in England, when you leave school, when you're going to university, you've already chosen the subject you want to do, and then all of your classes are based around that subject.
So if I go to, say, University of Stirling and I get done with the first 2 years and I say, I don't really want to be an engineer anymore. I want to go into art. Is it easy to change your major?
Yeah,
I
think
it is.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that, yeah.
Okay. Some places that's not so doable. Like in China, their university system is set up where if you start down this track, that's pretty much what you're doing.
Oh, really?
At least that's kind of my understanding. But yeah. One of the things I like
daunting.
about... What's that?
That's daunting.
Right? When you're 18, I don't know what I want to do.
No,
forever.
I still don't know.
I know, right? It changes every few years for me. Oh, that's good. Oh, do you hear that? That means it's trivia time. Dun, 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 dun. So this is part of the show where we ask 5 questions. And, if you get them all right, then you're on our wall of fame. Woo! If you don't, no big deal. Live in shame a little bit. But, don't let it bother you too much. Okay, first question. Now, this is a tough one, but it's from your part of the world. So, in Wickford, Essex, Wickford is an area that was inhabited in the prehistoric times by a tribe of Britons called the what? The Britons were called the tribe. That is a really hard question.
That is hard.
Sorry.
The only thing I really know about Essex history is that Colchester was the first ever city, and I don't know what they were.
Got a long history there. Well, they're called the Trinovantes.
Oh, I've never heard that word before.
I had never heard it either.
And they were in Wickford?
Yeah, so that's what it says. The area inhabited in prehistoric times by a tribe of Britons called the Trinovantes.
Oh, I'm going to look into that.
So there you go. There's my trivia for that part of the world. Okay, maybe that's not really a question that should count because it was so hard. Okay, let's do something easier. You go to school at North Seattle, and they have an animal associated with the campus. What is the mascot for North Seattle?
Tree frog.
Yay, that was easy. Okay, and then you are doing a short-term certificate in general studies. There are 4 other short-term certificates that are available. Can you name one of the other ones? What areas do they focus in? This is kind of hard. But since you went down that path, I thought maybe you might.
I do remember seeing them in the little drop box.
Yeah. There's 5 of them total.
I feel like one of them was like a paramedic kind of
Paramedics.
course, but I wouldn't have been called that.
Sorry,
though.
no. There's not even a health related short term, so that's really interesting. I'll just give you the answer. It's business in a global society, MBA prep, which is most of the people I talk to, computer science and technology, and cultures and communication. So, but yours is kind of cool because you can design it.
Yeah.
Are there any boundaries or restrictions on what you can and can't take, or you can just do whatever you want?
As long as you're doing 15 credits each quarter, that's, do what you like. That's why I chose it.
That's really great. Huh. All right, very good. Next question. There are different ways that students can find housing here at Seattle colleges. Can you name one way that students from overseas can get housing? What's one option for international students?
Host families?
Host families,
Yay.
Exactly. That's kind of tough. Yeah, they can do host families. We call them homestays, but host families. You can get an apartment, get a roommate, kind of like, I'm guessing you're in an apartment. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we also have the dorms at Seattle Central. So even if you go to North, you can stay in the dorms. It's just a short subway ride. So. All right, good. Next question. Seattle has a really good public transportation system. Name 2 methods you can get around the city without owning a car.
The one line.
The one line, exactly, the subway.
And the buses.
And the buses. Excellent. See, it's not so hard. Very good. All right, next question. There are 3 national parks that surround our city. Can you name one of the national parks?
Olympia.
The Olympic National Park. Very good. Just for fun, do you know the other 2?
Mount Rainier.
Mount Rainier. And the other one's north of here. Hint, hint.
Wait. I think
It's really beautiful. And trivia.
It's the mountain that's up there, right? The bigger one.
I don't know where north is.
There's so many mountains.
Yeah, there's a lot of mountains. It's called the North...
Cascades.
Yes, North Cascades National Park. And interestingly, little trivia here, it's one of the least visited national parks in our nation. I mean, it's up there in the top 10 of the least visited.
It's funny that you say that. I think I'm going to on Monday.
You should definitely go. It's really... My wife and I just went up a few weeks ago, and there weren't that many people there, which was great. It was a beautiful day. When you go around the north side, go up to Mount Shuskin, where the ski area is, the Baker ski area.
That's what I was trying to think of, Mount Baker. That was the mountain I was trying
Mount
to
Baker,
think of.
yeah. So there's Mount Baker and Mount Shuskin. They're just right next to each other. It's just really, really beautiful. All right, last question. Normally I ask the last question is, what was the last movie you saw? But in your case, since you're an artist, I'm going to say, who is your biggest influence, like artistic influence? Is it like Van Gogh, or is it maybe a musician or something? Like, who inspires you to do what you do?
You know, I don't think it's a specific artist. I think it's other artists in general.
Oh, nice answer.
I get very inspired by other people and what other people make. That inspires me to make what I want to make.
Nice.
So I wouldn't say I'm inspired by a specific person.
Gotcha.
Just by creative people in general.
Cool. Now, have you been to the Seattle Museum of Art?
No, I haven't.
Girl, you got to get down there. Yeah, it's just downtown, not too far from Pike Place. It's a great museum. Check it out. And I think on certain days it's free, so check out their website. Maybe it's like Mondays, or I don't remember. But yeah, it's really great. Well, cool. We're almost done with the show here, but I always like to give an opportunity for you to say, or to give a little of your wisdom. Like, if there are people in, let's just say Great Britain, the islands there, and they're thinking about coming to the United States to study, but they're not really sure. What kind of wisdom could you give them? What kind of advice would you give?
I would say, if you're thinking about it, go for it, because just immersing yourself in a different culture, even though you would probably think our cultures are very similar. They are very different.
They're very different.
Very, very different, and in such beautiful ways as well. So, like, I have learned a lot about myself and even about my own culture in comparison to this culture. So I would just say go for it, because there is so much to learn and so much to see here, and Seattle has like everything, like weather-wise, like, and like nature-wise, it's just prime. It's so
really
good.
Great. Yeah.
And also for people like me who are thinking about getting back into learning, who haven't done it for years, go for it, because
here.
Like, it's never too late to learn something you're passionate about.
Right. So if you're in your 30s and you think, oh, I won't be able to get a student visa to go to the United States because I'm too old, that's just not the case. You can definitely get your visa real fast, because that's always one of the questions I get from people is, what's the visa process like? What was it like for you? I mean, when you went in, you had to go to the embassy to do an interview, yeah?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't, because I had already, because of working at the camp, I had already had an American visa.
That makes sense.
So they just needed to see that, she's been given a visa before.
Right.
So they didn't need me to come in to do an interview. So my visa process was
super easy.
So easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the first time when you came to the camp? Was that, what kind of visa was that?
That was a J1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I had to go to an interview for that.
Okay.
I was very nervous.
I'll bet you were.
But it was absolutely fine.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of questions did they ask? Like, where are you going to live?
Yeah, they were just asking what I was going to do, really, and like when I was going to come back. And it was nothing too much. It was like maybe 3 questions, and that was about it. Like, it wasn't. I made it so much worse in my head.
Of course, yeah.
So much worse.
Guys in mirrored glasses.
I thought they were going to interrogate me.
That's right. They have a light up. Those Americans are crazy. Wow, that's really cool. I hear all sorts of different visa stories. It's really interesting. Some countries like India, for example, sometimes it'll take like 120 days before you can even get your interview. So you have to wait and wait and wait. You have to really plan ahead. But was that the case for you? How long did it take for you to get your interview appointment?
So I heard about getting the job at the camp in the October, I think, and then I was in America in June. So I think I had my interview. Well, as soon as I got offered the job at the camp, I started doing the process straight away.
Right.
But I don't remember it taking very long at all.
A couple of months,
3 months maybe. 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to plan ahead a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, I would say don't leave it though. Start
For sure.
Start doing all of the paperwork as soon as you can.
Yeah. And the nice thing about Seattle colleges, I don't know if you know this, is you can actually apply 5 quarters in advance, which is over a year. So if you are in a country where you should check the website, the State Department has a site that shows you how long it takes to get an appointment. But if you know it's going to be a while, you can apply way ahead of time and get in. So that's cool. Great to meet you. Great to hang out. Good to see you again. Yeah, yesterday was so great. I ran into you.
I know. That was so crazy.
All right. Oh, God, you're also working on campus too, right?
I am.
How's that going?
Yeah, I love it. I work in the Wellness Center on the front desk.
So there you go, guys. Come to Seattle colleges. You get a job on campus. It definitely helps. That's good. Sure. All right. So many questions I could ask you, but I got to wrap it up. Great to meet you. Thanks for coming in on this Friday afternoon. All right, everybody. See you around. Conversations With is painstakingly crafted for you by the Seattle College's International Programs Department and supported by the lovely folks here on our campus. This show is produced and edited by me, Evan Franulovich. We welcome your emails and questions about coming to Seattle Colleges. Please reach out to us via our website or just give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, as this helps others discover the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube at Seattle Colleges INTL. That's Seattle Colleges INTL. And be sure to check out all of the shows here on Conversations With. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.